When I first started this whole spiritual seeking many years ago, uh, like like many of us, I began by reading the writings of Ramana Maharishi, and he is—I don't know if he's the founder of this, but his method, and he definitely has a method to finding this uh, being we truly are, is called self-inquiry, and it essentially consists of one very simple sentence. And that sentence is, who am I? Or sometimes, what am I? And we're told that we should continue to ask ourselves this question, who am I? And don't do it analytically, don't see what comes up, um, just continue asking the question. And if you've done this kind of thing, you're going to very quickly discover that you hit a wall, that there is no answer to who am I. And then, if you're anything like me, you'll have read other things, and they will often talk about this quality of nothingness, that we are nothing, and that the world is an illusion. So, in effect, the world, like us, is essentially nothing. When we hear these words enter the mind and they are interpreted. And they are interpreted by our thinking mechanism. And our thinking mechanism is a product of our culture, the way we were raised, our larger socialization, and our genes. Our thinking mechanism is no different from our hand or our chest or our head, in that it is a part of our body, even though it cannot be seen as a physical part. It is only a body part. It is an object. So when we hear the words, we are nothing, the mind goes to the word nothing and says, I am that. This is an error, because I am not nothing and you are not nothing. But if we proceed with Ramana's instructions carefully, we also realize that we are not the something we believe ourselves to be. So we are neither nothing, even though the mind hears that word and makes the logical interpretation. We are not nothing. And we are not this something we believe ourselves to be. In a word, or a small collection of words, we are not a thought. When we are seeking, when we are trying to understand, when we are trying to make sense of all of this, we are very much in the world of the mind. The mind is dominant. But in the awakened state, the mind is irrelevant to our self-identity. It is meaningless. We know to the very depths of our being that we are not a thought. And we also know that thought is great at labeling things. It labels this cup of coffee as a cup of coffee. It labels these headphones as headphones. one day these headphones will be trash, and one day I'm going to drop this cup of coffee and it'll be just a bunch of plaster on the floor. But right now, for me, it's a cup of coffee. We are not a thought. We are not this body, and we're not the body of the mind. And so we can never say who we are. In the awakened state, thought, when it does happen, and it happens, of course it happens. It's just like our body happens, thought happens. Am I going to negate my body? Am I going to say, bad arm, go away arm, you're not me, bad head, bad, bad cup of coffee. In fact, it's a really good cup of coffee. And I was a good boy because I got this is organic coffee, and I nearly always have organic coffee. So we don't negate. See, when you say you read Ramana Maharshi and the mind says, aha, you are nothing. You are back to the same game of negation, because that's what the mind does. The mind negates. And I've been through that so many times about negation and invalidation, about the way we were raised, and I've called this the wound and its fear selves. And I urge you to go to the blog, and you can do a search on the tag, the wound, the fear selves, and you'll hear a great deal of writing about negation. But when we say we are nothing, we are negating. We are in the world of the mind, and the mind is such a great negator. We are not nothing. Anytime you are depressed, anytime you're frustrated, anytime you feel hopeless, anytime you feel the pain of the endless cycle of seeking, anytime that is happening, you are in the realm of thought. You are back to the identification with the body, and that's who you are not. The body and its thoughts and feelings is simply the vehicle for what? What is the body and the mind the vehicle for? The body and the mind is the vehicle for one thing. It is the vehicle for this. And this is the truth. Just this, and this is always changing. And that which holds this is unchanging. The changing and the unchanging are one. And that is the meaning of oneness. And we don't only thought can negate this. And even if negation happens, that is part of the changing this. And if depression happens, as it will, it is part of the changing this. And the more our identity with thought weakens, the less prone we will be to depression or frustration or hopelessness. Because when those states happen, those feeling states happen, we are in the realm of thought. It's as simple as that. And so that self-inquiry, who am I? The answer becomes the two that is one. Who am I? The two that is one. I am this world that is changing, that's one. And I am the holder of this world that is unchanging. The body and thoughts and feelings are part of the changing world, and that which holds it is part of the changeless world. The two become one. And hence the word Advaita, which translates as not two. Advaita. Thank you.